Hi friends, this is Shar. So I'm back and today's video yung titingnan natin or yung ipapakita ko sa inyo yung I-485 which is application to register permanent residence or adjustment or adjust status. So ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano ko fill upan yung form ko. Tapos kung ano yung kung napanood nyo yung recent videos ko, pinakita ko na sa inyo kung ano yung laman ng cover letter ng I-485 ko. So if we still have time, then ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung mga mismo sa loob, kung ano yung mga nakalagay dito sa aking supporting evidence. Okay, so it's total 24 pages doon sa I-485. So, paano makuha tong forms ng I-485? So, all you have to do is just go to this website, uscis.gov. And then, there's a search our site. So, it's either way you can go to this form and then click right here, or mine is usually I'll just search it on website since I know already which form I need. So I just type 485 and there you go. Right, and click this one and it will appear on this side. So applications to register permanent residence or adjust status. So this is ours. So itong I-485 is para sa mga gustong it's a family base and kung gusto mong you will use this form to apply for lawful permanent resident status if you are in United States. So once again, you will apply this form only if you want to become lawful permanent resident status or green card holder. So if you are in the United States. So since I'm here in the United States, I am applying this form I-485. So there's an alert here, but so for the request evidence, it shows here na hindi na nila, this is related for the COVID-19 vaccination. So, hindi na nila, na-remove na nila yung COVID-19 vaccination form from the list of required vaccinations. So, hindi mo na kailangan ng, it says here, therefore, documentation of having completed the COVID-19 vaccination is not required for any immigration medical examination. So, and it says here also with adjustment pending on or after January 2025. So it's naka-apply siya sa akin kasi mag-a-apply ako ngayon after ng January 20, so hindi na siya kailangan. Anyway, I still have with me. And then until USCIS updates form 693 report of immigration medical examination and vaccination records, civil surgeons can either cross out of the COVID-19 section excuse me, or write NA, and if the alien meets all the vaccination requirements, mark applicants completed vaccination requirements or may be eligible for blanket waivers as indicated above. So, ayun na nga ang sinabi dito sa alert. Yan yung unang-unang bago. So, nandito na yung forms tsaka instruction. So, dito natin mamaya makikita kung paano yung pag-fill out ng forms. Tapos, yung instructions for form I-485. So, nandyan na din. Excuse me. So, form details. So, meron dito edition date. So, dapat January 20, 2025 yung ating edition date, where you can find the edition date at the bottom of the page for and instructions. So, we will check. So, ito yung akin. So, nakita nyo na to nung nakaraan. So, as you can see, yung akin ay edition ko ay January 2025. And then, expiration niya is 10/31/2027. Okay? So, now, Next, if you completed this form, print this form to mail it. So, same thing like yung minention ko sa inyo nung mga nakaraang video ko, kahit doon sa nung tinatalakay pa lang natin yung cover letter ng every form ko. So, dapat walang yung form lahat ng form, walang missing pages, and they should be not different different form editions or yung application. So, basically, dito sa form nila, tsaka kung anong ipapasa mo, dapat it's the same. So, they're always double check the edition and the expiration. Otherwise, it says here, we may reject your form. So, automatically rejected yung form mo kung mali yung editions or expirations. So, where to file? It says here, where to file depends on your eligibility category. So, nandito yung direct. Click nyo lang to. So, isa-isahin natin yan sa susunod para hindi medyo mahaba yung form. Kasi ang focus natin is yung form, kung paano fill upan. So, you may not file your form I-4 immediately available in your category. So, when to file. Lahat yan nandito. Filing fee. So, ang 1,485 ngayon is nagtaas siya simula nung last year. So, now it's $1,440. Sadly. So, well, mababawi din natin yan. Gaya nga ng sabi ng iba, they're always saying, mababawi nyo naman yan yung 1,440. So, actually, ayun na nga. Pero ang bigat pa din. So, ayan yun. Isasabihin ko rin sa inyo kung ano yung form na binayad ko. Ito yung mga checklist ng I-485, then form of filing tips, special instructions. Ayan yung form. However, if you file April fund, okay, so nakalagay dito sa filing special instructions, if you filed I-4N5 after July 30 and before April 1, 2024 and pay the required fee, you do not have to pay an additional fee for the I-765 and I-131. However, if you file form after April 1, 2024, you must pay additional fees to file form 765 and 131 as listed on our fee schedule. So, like what I said on the previous one, now we have to pay the I-765 which cost you $260, 50% discount kasi mag-a-apply ako together ng I-485. Kung hindi is $520 siya. Tapos yung I-131 or advance parole is $630. So dati libre siya, ngayon magbabayad ka na ng $630. Can you imagine that? Okay, tapos ayun na nga. So, ito na yung mga form. Hindi ko siya iisa-isahin kasi like what I said, yung focus natin yung form, 'di ba? So, habang nandito yung form ko, while tinuturo ko sa inyo, and then at the same time, I'm also once again 5 times, 10 times, 20 times ko nang chine-check tong form ko. So, we checked again. Alright? So, we're checking each other. So, at least nakakatulong sa inyo at nakakatulong din sa akin. Okay, let's go. Okay, so now we will click this. We will proceed to the form. Then click form. And there you go. Okay, so yung first page, ang nakalagay lang dyan is you will start from here kasi nakalagay nga sa taas is for USCIS use only. So, to be completed an attorney, ito yung sa kanila. Then, we will start from here. Start here. So, your current legal name, do not provide a nickname. So, family name. So, once again, person applying for lawful permanent residence. So, if you are applying for lawful permanent, ikaw to, beneficiary, ikaw to, hindi yung petitioner mo or yung sponsor ang mag-sign para sa'yo. Okay? So, it's all about you. So, family name, like what I always mention, so pwede mo nang gamitin yung husband's last name mo. So, kung hindi, it's up to you if you want to use your husband's last name, kahit na yung sa marriage certificate nyo, hindi pa rin nakalagay yung husband's last name mo. Basta, keep this sa reminder na dapat lahat ng forms, kailangan ang last name mo are the same. So, lahat ng forms are the same. Family name, given name, and middle name. So, usually, lahat ng ginagamit nila, Jane Doe. So, you don't have to write capital letter or caps lock, then, Jane. Then, sa Filipinos, usually, for us Filipinos, if you want to indicate or still part your middle name as your last name nung dalaga kayo, so pwede ko, for example, Legaspi. So you put Legaspi, and then other names, this is since birth. So ito yung ang pangalan mo nung ikaw ay dalaga pa or single, kunyari Perez. And then last name mo is Legaspi. So that's how you put it. Then date of birth, have you ever used kung ano yung date of birth mo? Kunyari 10/02/1990. Example only. Have you ever used any other date of birth? Of course you say no, and then if you answer yes, then you can just write it on this one. So once again, edition date. And this one is same like mine is 10/31. Alright, let's pause in a while. So here is one of the special instructions is the G1145. So every form, if you want to have this, if you want the USCIS to notify you na na-receive na nila yung application nila, so they will send you an email or text message. So you need to fill out this form. So sa baba niyan, complete this form. And then, nakalagay lang dyan yung petitioner's last name, first name, then email address, and yung phone number. So, after that, ilalagay mo siya on top of the page of your form, which is ito, which is tama rin yung sa akin. Expiration is 10/31/2027, and yung edition niya is January 2025. Okay, now let's move on. So, A number, if you don't have A number, leave it blank. So, sa mga merong A number, do not forget to write the A number. So, very important yan. So, you write it here on this section and also on this section. Don't forget this one. Yeah? Kung meron kayong A number. Do you have an alien registration number? Since we don't have that, we'll just click no. Here, have you ever been assigned any other A number? And you will say no. If yes, then you will write the A number. Then sex, female, town of birth, city or town of birth, saan kayo pinanganak. So for example, Metro Manila. Then just type Metro. Oops. Yeah. Metro Manila, sorry, 100 Manila, and then country of birth, Philippines. Okay, country of citizenship, same thing, yung country mo. So ako ay from the Philippines. So Philippines. US online account, if you have any, write it. If not, leave it blank. If one has been assigned, you can find it in the USCIS that USCIS may have sent to you. So, sa akin, hindi siya iba. Kasi OAN dapat, pero yung akin, way back, yung meron akong USCIS online account, pero hindi siya nagsa-start sa OAN. Sa akin is MCN, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's not considered as your online account number. Alright. Now, let's move on. Passport or travel document that you use. So, you can find this one, everything in your I-94 or, yeah. So, passport. So, you will write the passport This is just example. Okay. And yeah, for example, that one, expiration date ng passport mo or travel document. But usually is the passport. So, ilalagay mo lang yan. For example, yan. So, always follow the month, day, and year. So, this one is not an Adobe type, but you must download the Adobe. There's an Adobe free. So, make sure you download that one kasi mamaya dito sa additional informations para automatically diretso na siya. So, same thing doon sa ating I-864 na tatalakayin natin next time sa video. Country that issued your passport, travel documents. So, Philippines. Non-immigrant visa number using during most recent. So, ito yung kung ikaw ay pumasok dito using B2 visa, so, yun ang ilalagay mo. Yun yung nakalagay doon na travel number or wait lang, papakita ko sa inyo ulit. So, you have idea. Okay. Okay. So, nakalagay dito non-immigrant visa number. So, this is the same like travel number which is located on this area. So, this is only a sample. So, itong red dito. So, when you check your B2 visa, so you can find it right here. Okay? Alright. So, let's move on. So, ilalagay mo siya dito. For example, yeah, nag-type lang ako. Date, non-immigrant visa was issued. So, once again, makikita mo siya dito yung issued date. Yeah? So, yun, don't be confused sa expiration and the issued date. So, sa akin, or so for example, 3/1/2020. So, for example lang yan. Place and date of last arrival into the US. So, ito, yung dito, so meron confusing. So, for example, sa Philippines, sa akin, papunta akong Kentucky, walang direct flight. So, usually, ang nangyari sa akin, Manila to San Francisco, San Francisco to Nashville, Tennessee. So, yung nakalagay dito, place and date of last arrival into the US. So, isa ito sa mga tricky part ng form. So, since ang last destination ko is Nashville, so, pero ang port of entry ko or kung saan ako nabigyan ng I-94 or saan natatakan yung passport ko or saan ako tinanong ng immigration officer is sa San Francisco. So, ang ilalagay mo dito sa place and date of last arrival into the US is, on my part, San Francisco. So, hindi mo ilalagay kung ano yung last destination mo. Ang ilalagay mo dito, once again, kung ano yung, kung saan ka na tinanong ng officer at kung saan mo nakuha yung kung saan ka tinataka ng passport at yung I-94. So, for example, dumating ako dito, April 8, 2025. Okay? When I last arrived in the US, I was inspected at a port of entry and admitted. So, ito ang i-check natin. And admitted, not this one, not paroled, or without admission, or other. So, we will check on this part, and we will say, we'll type here, because they're here, it says, for example, visitor. And ito na nga yung problema kasi hindi na natin siya, basta itatype mo lang siya is visitor. Okay? Ito yung visitor. There you go. Next, let's move on. So, ito yung problema, di ba? Tinype ko siya, pero kasi nag-move on na kagad tayo sa form at wala tayo sa Adobe, hindi ako makapag-type. So, once again, use the Adobe. Alright, let's move on sa page number 3. Okay, if you were issued form I-94, then you will fill out. So, you have to go and check the I-94 website. Alright, so now how you will go to the I-94 website, just click i94.cbp.dhs.gov. So, ito yung magiging yung sa page niya. Tapos, you will not apply for new I-94. You will get the most recent I-94. This one. Click this one. There you go. And then, terms of service. So, nakalagay lang dyan kung ano yung mga, kung i-accept mo or acknowledge and agree. Lahat ng sinabi dito sa terms of service nila. I-acknowledge and agree. So, ito yung nakalagay dito, enter your travel info, which is your first name, given name, last surname, date of birth, country of citizenship, document number is your passport number, and then you will press the continue. Ano ang itsura ng I-94? I will give you mine. There you go. Okay. Ito yung itsura ng I-94. So, tatakpan ko lang yung aking mga papers. Okay. Tapos, may nakalagay na doon na print section. So, now we move on. Ano ang sabi dito? If you were issued a form I-94, provide the given information from your most recent. Now, this one, family, last name, first name. Dapat kung ano ang nakalagay doon sa I-94 nyo. Hindi ito yung ilalagay mo yung last name ng asawa mo. Kasi nga, nung pumasok ako dito sa US, ang gamit ko pa din sa passport ko is yung maiden name ko. Okay, hindi pa nabago kasi nga Philippine passport pa din. So, ang lalagay natin dito is kung ano yung halimbawa nakalagay doon sa I-94 mo. So, kung sa akin is yung, for example, ang last name ni Jane Doe Legaspi is, last name niya is, or family name is Legaspi. Then, yung given name niya is Jane. Okay? Form arrival or departure record number. So, ito yun. Ayan yung record number. Okay? Sa admission record number, ang nakalagay, expiration of date. So, you will write, usually yung DS, ito yung mga student visa. Okay? Or J1 visa, if I'm not mistaken, kung J1 visa ka. Pero sa akin, dahil ito yung aking date admit until October 7, 2025. So, 6 months siya binigay sa akin. Was your last arrival is the first time. So, ilalagay mo lang siya. Immigration status, for example, of your I-94. Let me just... so, nasa na tayo? Immigration status. So, ang ilalagay nyo dyan is kung ano yung status nyo nung on form 94. So, mine, it says is B2. So, kung B2 po kayo, ang ilalagay nyo mismo doon sa form na yun ay B2. So, nakita nyo naman yung kanina, pinakita ko yung I-94 ko. It says there, B2 visa. Okay? Next is, so, was that your last arrival first time you were physically present in the US? So, kung napanood nyo yung previous vlog ko, yung sa akin, galing na ako sa US. So, you will physically present in the US. And then you will say, no. Not my first time. Pero kung first time mo, ilalagay mo yes. What's your current immigration status? So, mine is still B2. So, B2. Okay, now, expiration date of current immigration status type or print DS. So, it's the same thing. Pinakita ko sa inyo yung akin 10/07/2025. So, it's the same thing dito sa nilagay ko. So, nung pinakita ko yung I-94 ko, yan yung nakalagay. Have you ever been an issued Alien Crewman Visa? So, yung Alien Crewman Visa is the C1D visa, which is like what I mentioned. Seafarer po ako. So, I will click here, yes. Okay, so kung hindi naman po kayo seafarer, then just click no. You cannot click yes and no. So, isa lang po. Okay, did you last arrive in the US join as a vessel seaman or crewman? Nope. Kasi, ang ginamit ko po B2 visa and hindi po, it's illegal po yun na gagamit mo yung seaman mo para maka-enter ka sa US at hindi ka naka-join sa vessel. Now, addresses, when was the in care of name, gaya ng sabi ko sa inyo, kapag walang nakatira dito sa bahay, kung may kasama kayo sa family nyo, so ilalagay nyo yung name ng, for example, Marie Lagaspi or Marie Doe, yung pangalan ng nanay ng asawa nyo or something. So, kung wala naman, kung ikaw lang din ang tatanggap ng ng lahat ng mail, you don't have to write here, and then write the street number and everything for street number and name. So, for example, Newtown, Smiths. So, this, gawa ko lang po ito, ha. Smiths Drive, tapos City of Town, for example, Bowling Green. Then, state is Kentucky, in my part. Then, yung kung anong zip code. Okay? So, gawa-gawa ko lang. Date, you first resided at this address. So, baka same kayo ng aking scenario. So, pumunta ako dito July 31, 2020, but I stayed here for almost a year. So, that's considered already as your first address sa akin. Pero kung pumunta lang kayo dito sa US, like for vacations or for trip, hindi po yun yung first resided nyo sa US. So, kung ngayon mag-a-apply po kayo ng ng green card, tapos pumunta kayo dito sa US, so, ang ilalagay nyo, kung kailan kayo pumunta, so, April 8, 2025. But since tumira ako dito for almost a year, kinonsidered ko na date first resided ko at this address is July 31, 2020. Is this your current mailing address? Yes. So, this one, since baka siguro magtanong yung immigration officer, bakit since 2020 pala ako nakatira, bakit hindi? So, later on, sa additional information, explain ko bakit ako nagkaroon bakit ito yung first resided ko, para siya, consistent. So, sa I-130 namin, yung asawa ko yung mag-fill out nun, diba? Yung petitioner or yung sponsor, siya yung, so, naka-explain din doon bakit July 31, 2020 yung first resided ko dito sa address na to. So, once again, current mailing address, safe or alternative mailing address. So, you will just leave this blank if it's the same doon sa why you still work? Okay.
What do you mean, why am I still working?
Okay, I'll give it to you there.
Where?
Okay. Then, may istorbo. So, ikakat ko muna tong video ko. Hi, I'm back. So, naputol tayo doon sa dito sa 3. So, leave it blank. And then, so, ilalagay lang natin current mailing address. So, dito wala kasi same lang sa current US physical address. Okay? So, if it says, if applicable. So, kung lalagyan mo lang siya. Then, now, let's proceed to page number 4, prior address. So, nakalagay dito, have you resided at your current address for at least 5 years? And then, I answered no. So, if you answered no, it says here, provide your prior address for the last 5 years. So, use the space provided, part 14 for the additional information. So, prior address ko is yung doon sa Pilipinas. So, ilalagay mo lang dito yung street name and name. So, kunyari ako ay okay, since hindi na naman siya okay. So, hindi okay. So, you will, if you provide no, then once again, you have to write something here, street number, name, city, town, province. So, for example, ako, sa Rizal, postal code 1860. So, leave it blank na states and zip code kasi hindi naman siya applicable sa Pinas. So, country is Philippines. So, date of residence from, so, kung kailan kayo from, so kung kailan kayo tumira doon hanggang nung nilagay ko dito sa 2 kung ano yung date na umalis ako ng Pilipinas. So nilagay ko yung April 8, 2025 dito sa block na to. So hindi ko siya malagyan. So pakisundan na lang yung video since hindi Adobe yung gamit ko ngayon. Okay? So next is most recent address outside the US. So, provide your most recent physical address outside where you live for more than a year if not already listed above. So, ito yung sinasabi nila. Since we already listed here kung ano yung address natin sa Pilipinas, then we will leave this one blank. Okay? Alright. Now, so, pero kung meron pa kayo, for example, marami kayong address dito na hindi nakalisted. So, ilalagay nyo, for example, here, block, 9, lot 7, then city or town, for example, San Rafael, then we'll say yung province is Rizal, and postal code, for example, this one, and Philippines. So, from day and to month nyo ilalagay kung kailan kayo. Okay, same this one, yung question sa I-485 if I'm not mistaken. So, ito ay sa I'm not pretty sure, I-130 or something, or has the Social Security Administration ever issued a Social Security card to you? And you will say, no. Oh, I think this is a I-765. If you answered yes, then you will provide. If you answered yes, yeah. If not, then leave this one blank. And then, if you answered yes, do you want the SSA to issue a Social Security card? Of course, we want that kasi wala naman tayong Social Security. Then, if you answered yes, you must also answer yes to consent for disclosure below. So, ito yung consent for disclosure below. Then, you will say yes. So, basically, it's the same question dun sa I-765 or I-131. Okay? And now, we will proceed to part 2, which is page number 5. So, right here is, are you filing for adjustment of status with the executive officer for immigration review? And we will say no. Okay, so receipt number of underlying petition, so we will leave this one blank. So I am filing this form I-485, so you need to select only one box. So it's bold right here, it says only one. So hindi tayo ay papasok dito sa principal applicant tayo. Okay, so this one, you don't have to write anything from here because this is only applicable if you write the, if you choose this derivative applicant. Okay? So, derivative applicant, makikita mo lahat siya doon sa instruction ko ano itong mga derivative applicant. Pero tayo, sa case ko, principal applicant, and then I'll just leave this blank. Alright? So now, I am applying based on the following category. You must select only one category. Only one for this one. If you are filing as derivative applicant, select the appropriate box based on the category under which the principal applicant is applying for or has applied. So, it says here, see the form I-485 instructions. So, there will be an instructions na makikita nyo dito. So, type again, 485. And then, these instructions right here. Okay, click this one. And like what I said, ito yung friendship nyo. So, para mag-fill out ng I-485. So, so this is the principal applicant na kung bakit, and then this is all about what it says, derivative adjustment applicant. So, if you are currently the spouse or a child of a principal applicant, you may file I-485 if an immigrant visa is immediately available to you and you meet all the filings. So, yan ang ibig sabihin ng derivative applicant. So, you are the spouse or child ng principal applicant. So, hindi siya applicable sa atin. Kaya, hindi tayo derivative. So, dito tayo. Now, we are the family base. So, ako ay spouse ng US citizen. So, the rest of this is not applicable because according here, only one category. And this is mine, spouse of a US citizen. So, we will skip everything. This one. So, I will not run through everything, all of these questions kasi aabot ng siguro ng isang oras. Pero like what I said, yung kung ano lang yung akin, yun lang yung ilalagay ko dito. And then sa mga ibang case ng tulad sa akin. So, once again, ito yung tutulong sa inyo, yung instructions. Alright? Or you can watch another vlog na related sa case ninyo. So, hindi tayo employment-based, hindi tayo special immigrant. We skip that. Asylee or refugee, human trafficking, special program-based, we're not that one. Additional options were also not considered for that one. Okay? So, now, additional options. But here, if you selected sa number 4, if you selected a family-based, employment-based, special immigrant, visa immigrant, so sinelect natin yung family-based. Ngayon, ang tanong dyan, are you applying for adjustment status based on INA section 245? And you will say no. Okay, we are not applying for INA or applying adjustment based on the INA. Okay, so are you 21 years of age older and applying for adjustment based on classification as a child under the provision of child status protection? And no ang sagot natin dito. So, hindi tayo basis ng okay, INA. Okay, now we will proceed to the part 3, which is number 8. So I am requesting an exemptions from submitting an affidavit of support under section 213 of, so you have to select again only one. So we will read this one. I have earned or can receive credit for the qualifying members. I'm not this one. So for me, read this everything, but on my case, I'm none of these exemptions. So apply to me. I'm not requesting an exemption, and as I am required to submit an affidavit of support under section 213 of the INA. So here, okay, medyo ko. So ito yung affidavit of support. So hindi tayo under nitong 245, okay? So just to make sure. So we are under the section of 213, which is affidavit of support. Now, move on to part 4. Have you ever applied for an immigrant visa to obtain permanent resident? at a US embassy or US consulated abroad. So, kung nag-apply ka sa Pilipinas or dito, so in my case, no. Okay? And then if you answered yes, you have to fill out everything on this part. So now, employment and educational history. Provide all your employment and educational history at least 5 years as indicated in the instructions. Okay? So, you have to provide everything. So, mine, first is the employer. Kung employed ka for the first 5 years, then you have to write it here. So, ako, since sinabi ko, since I graduated college, I started working in a cruise ship. So, for 5 years, they said 5 years. So, I've been working in this cruise ship for 7 years. So, bali, first 5 years ko sa ibang cruise line, ibang company, and then this one sa ngayong current cruise line ko is I spent already 7 years, so isa lang ang ilalagay ko. So for example, okay, since I work from Carnival, then you put Carnival cruise line. Okay, then name of employer, for example, that cruise line. And then, okay, and then put it here. And then, kung anong occupation mo. Okay? Then, if you're unemployed, then your school or current or most recent. So, this is must be current or most recent. Then, the address. Kung anong address nung ano. And then, date. From date of employment. Ilalagay mo dito, and then ilalagay mo lang dito, present. Kasi until present tayo. Okay, and then same thing like here, if unemployed ka, retirement or school attendance, ilalagay mo lang. Okay, next is provide your most recent employer or school outside of the US if not already listed above. So, like what I said, so kung yung akin pala, so ilalagay ko pa din pala kasi not listed above, and then it's outside the US, yung cruise line na yun, so iba ang may-ari. So, I have to indicate here. So, for example, this one, Star Cruises, then my occupation, example, cruise staff, then, anong street number, since ang may-ari nun usually, I think the country is from the Hong Kong. Okay. Alright. So, kung kailan, that's only for example. Then, lalagay mo dito kung ano yung hanggang kailan. Kung kailan ka umalis. Ngari, ayan, 2010. Then, there you go. And then, ganun din kapag recent, if either school or outside of the US. So, tinuturo dito, tinutukoy outside of the US because yung akin is from USA. So, kaya nilagay ko ito and separate din siya. So, now information about your parents. So, make sure ilagay mo yung base of your knowledge dito. Parents 1, doesn't matter kung mauuna yung mother or your father mo. So, just write it here. Names at birth. So, for example, yung akin, kung yung mother ko yung nauna, kunyari, Mary. So, the legal name ni Mary. Nung kasal na siya. So, Legaspi. Tapos dito, kung ano yung parents name nung at birth. Nung pangalan ng mother mo nung dalaga siya. So, ilalagay mo dito. Kunyari, ang dalaga siya, yung Perez. Diba? Okay. So, Mary, then Perez. Okay. Kunyari, ito yung palayaw niya nung middle name. Oh, yeah. For example, ganyan. Okay, country of birth, then Philippines. So, gagawin mo din siya dito sa parents' legal name for your father. Okay? So, now, what is your current marital status? Okay, so your current marital status is, since ako is, tawag dito, kasal na ako sa US. So, kasal na ako sa US. Yeah. So, kasal na ako. So, and it's only one. So, it's married. Okay? If you're married, is your spouse is a current member of the US Armed Forces, US Coast Guard? My husband is not. So, no. And how many times have you been married, including your current marriage, abroad, annulled marriage, and marriages to the same person? So, once again, ayan, naka-include na yan, open and close parenthesis. So, ako just once. Pero kung ikaw ay annulled, or meron kang sa Pilipinas, then i-include mo lahat dito. Tapos, anong pangalan nung iyong spouse legal name or last name. Okay? So, ilalagay mo yan. So, since yung very basic na nakalagay lagi is John Doe. Kunyari, yan yung pangalan ng asawa mo. So, since yung asawa ko ay US citizen, so wala siyang ACE number. Then, date of birth. There you go. USA. Alright, tapos kung ano yung address ni hubby. So, dapat same kayo ng address kung saan kayo nakatira. Yeah. Place of marriage. So, don't forget kung saan, kung saan kayo kinasal, ilalagay mo dito. And then, date of marriage to current spouse. Kung kailan. Is your current spouse applying with you? And you will say no if he's a US citizen, kung ikaw lang ang nag-a-apply. Okay? So, there you go. And then, date of marriage. Now, next, prior. Kung meron kayong prior spouse legal name, before the marriage, kung meron kayong, kung kinasal kayo sa Pilipinas, before yung marriage nyo ngayong present husband, so, ilalagay nyo po dito. And then, it says here, how marriage ended with the prior spouse. Select one, annulled, divorce, or spouse is deceased. Okay? Then, next is include the total number of all living children anywhere in the world, including adult sons and daughters that you have. Note, the term children includes biological, legally adopted children, as well as current stepchildren of any age, whether born in the US or other countries, married or unmarried, living with you or elsewhere, and includes and missing children and those born to you outside of marriage. So, i-include mo lahat ng pangalan ng anak mo, which is naka-specify na dito. Please read carefully yung notes, adopted or biological, half-brother, step-brother, step-sister, etc., etc. Kung kasal man o hindi, lahat dyan naka-include. Okay, so since hindi siya applicable sa akin, we will skip that part. Okay, now we move on to the biographic information, which is sa part 8. So, ilalagay mo lang po dito kung not Hispanic, then Asian, etc. Kung ano yung applicable sa inyo, eye color, height, feet, and weight. It says there, pounds, hindi siya kilo, kg, so you have to use the Google or the rate, yung exchange niya from kg to pounds, okay? Next, this one, general eligibility and ineligibility grounds. So, it says, have you ever been a member of, involved of any associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or nakalagay dyan. Kailangan mong isulat kahit lahat ng foundation or organization na kasama ka, nakalagay dito, location in the world. Since I don't have any organizations sa buong mundo, I will put no. If yes, then you have to click yes and you have to write all the organizations. Yes, and then if there's more, then you use the additional informations. Next, now you have to read this carefully. So usually, this from 10 to 21, it's asking you about kung na-denied ka na ba sa US, kung ano na ba yung about sa visa mo, may removal, exclusions, etc. etc. So, you have to check kung ano yung applicable sa inyo. Read the instructions carefully. It's just yes or no. So, no, 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 etc., etc. But here, please be mindful. For example, sa 20 and 21, have you ever been a J-non immigrant who was J-non immigrant is J1 visa to a 2-year foreign residence? So you will say, I put here no. And then if you answered yes to item 19, then have you complied with the foreign residence requirement? So since hindi ko nilagay yes, I will leave this one blank. And then, nakalagay dito, if you answered yes to item 19, then, and no to item number 20, have you been granted a waiver or has Department of State issued favorable waiver confirmation letter to you? So, you have to write something here. Okay? So, it says here, if you answered yes to item 19 and no to item 20, have you been granted to a waiver? So this is number 20. So since we did not put anything right here, we will leave it blank. Okay, so read the instructions carefully. Now, criminal acts and violations. So basically, it's all about criminals and violations. So please read the instructions carefully and click applicable because napakahaba nito. So once again, tandaan yung mga sinabi ko na kapag yung item number is not applicable to you, you don't have to answer yes or no for like this case. So please, kung naka-bold yan, so if the answer yes and the item 19, then that's the time you will answer. So same thing applicable also to the criminal acts and violations. So medyo mahaba to. So you have to read all of this information, security and related, etc. So it's just yes and no. So once again, so there are some questions right here that you have to check if it's applicable for you. Then you need to answer yes or no. If it's not applicable to you, you don't have to write anything and leave it blank. Okay? So it's all until now. We will move on to part 9. Part 9 is general public charge. Okay. Okay, and this is page 18. So here, it's not required for us because I am exempted from the public charge. Select only one box. So, wala sa atin to dito. So, tayo ay nandito sa page 19. Mag-click ng information, which is, it says here, I do not fall under any of the exempt categories listed above and will complete item 57 to 66. Okay? So, hindi tayo under doon. So, now we will move on from here. So, now, if you need an extra space to complete, so, provide part number 14. So, what is the size of your household? So, be mindful of this one kung ilan kayo ng household sa bahay ninyo. So, since kami lang ng asawa ko, so it doesn't mean na ito parehas to doon sa iyong so, di ba ang sinabi ko dun sa video ko, nakikitira ako. So, hindi na included dito yung parents mo or anyone. So, here is just you and your husband kung sino yung na-apply. Tapos, indicate your annual household income. So, kung magkano yung annual household income ng let's just say this. So, you will click. So, anything that is applicable for this household income for these two. Okay, identify your total value of asset. So let's just say this one, and then this is liabilities. Okay, and proceed this one. So now you need to write the highest degree of your grade in school. So just select which one is applicable to you. So, sa akin is bachelor's degree. And you have to write list of certifications. So, ito ay guide lang nila, yung list of certifications para sulat mo kung anong meron kang certifications para means na para ma-hire ka nila dito sa US. Ito yung mga qualifications mo. So, yun yung ibig sabihin. Kaya nila pinalagay dyan yung list your certifications, licenses, skills para magkaroon ka ng work or makatulong sa iyo dito sa US kung ikaw ay maghahanap ng work. Next, question number 63. Have you ever received supplemental security income, etc., etc.? So, we answered no. Have you ever received a long-term institutionalization of government expense? And we say no. Next, benefit received. This one is not applicable to us because hindi naman natin, ang sinagot natin ay no. Kung yes, then you have to write everything that you received from here, and same thing from here with institution. So once again, illegal entries and other immigration violations. So please read the instructions carefully. So same thing, yes or and no lang yan. And then if you answered yes to 67, then attach the written statement there. So there's a note. So always read the instructions or the note, especially the notes. Then, so still move on for the removal of unlawful presence. So it's same thing, and the miscellaneous conduct. So yes and no, yes or no. So read the instructions carefully. Now there you go. So on page 22 is just the applicant's contact confirmation, certifications, and signatures. So you'll just write your number, email address, and then you can repeat the number if you want to. Then don't forget to sign. Date of signature, for example, now is 24/20/25, and then the signature after you print, then black ink, and then interpreters, if you have interpreter, then this one, same thing with the preparer. So once again, this here additional information, do not forget to leave it blank. So it doesn't mean kung wala kayong ilalagay dito, you will leave it blank. You will still have to indicate your last name, first name, and middle name. So same thing like mine here. So I have indicated and I wrote some additional informations. Okay, and that's it. And that's it for the I-485. I know medyo mabilis, pero umabot tong video na to ng 1 hour. But hopefully nakatulong. So yun lahat ng mga sinagutan ko. So if you will just, kung tatapusin nyo lang yung video, ando na yung 1 by 1 or step by step kung ano yung mga sinagutan ko. So I have here my papers with me, as you can see. So chinek ko 1 by 1 habang binabasa ko yung forms or pages. So chinecheck ko din yung akin para double check tayo. Tapos yung checklist, ayan, andito na. So nakita nyo naman yung cover letter ko. So just check on that one, and it's very easy, simple. So basically it's just only all visas and everything. So, nandun sa cover letter ko kung ano yung mga nilagay ko. I-94 nyo, kung paano mo nyo makuha yung I-94, ilalagay ko sa description also below kung ano yung mga I-94, yung website na importante. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Kung meron din kayong questions, so let me know.